Travis, my good soul. So, spent my 4th of July after doing some file transferring. Looked for the files for the final 4 that I had made and hid somewhere in the boxes, and they weren't those. It was the 3rd one down when I finally found them. The second to last box. Nonetheless, been working on a Word program to combine them all together into a document so I can make it easier. Because for the past week, this past week, I started getting inspiration to do this. I've learned throughout my life that when I am inspired, I need to do it, and I need to do it as quick as possible before the inspiration goes. Because it won't be done otherwise. It'll end up in a big old pile. I did find the booklet of my YouTube fact sheet. So pulled that out. So, yeah, wow, okay. So this whole pile then is likely to need to be combined into it. Oh my goodness. If I don't do it immediately, it'll never get done. There, that's cleaned up. So, watching Scorpion, still pissed. Though finally, I just have so much to talk about that show, and I have nobody to talk to about it. Nonetheless, so my number 1 video that caused the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints of Living Prophets of Jesus to have their heads spin into a panicked frenzy, for which they then proceeded to commit crimes to cover me up, hide me, and erase me from history with murder. And all hell broke loose. Many lives have been destroyed because of this church and their obsession with me. That video was a recommend. I was asked, when are we going to Zion? What? I just started. Fine. So that video was produced. Little did I know at the time of the consternation of the church in wanting me destroyed for that. So obviously, as anybody can check, I no longer ever get even close to getting lots of views. I don't even get thousands of views anymore. With the new AI that's been put into the programming of YouTube and the internet, it's been programmed specifically to target me. The programming for YouTube, for example, has put creators on a quota list. Those who demonstrate that they're popular get the higher quota so that they can continue to generate views, so that they are clueless as to the control that YouTube has over them. But many of us will have recognized that our viewing has dropped. Just like when the church sabotaged my website back in the day, in 2019. they invested heavily in a company that had bought out my website, so that when they officially took over, they officially changed to the new algorithms for the website and effectively shut me down. See, algorithms are not just projection math, which is the stupidest thing in the universe for people who claim that it's the smartest thing in the world. It has destroyed a number of businesses who have used that algorithm program since the 2000s. And don't even get me started on Scorpion. The spiritual method mathematician has still proven himself to be a worthless character, as they keep introducing new characters and then replace them over and over. God! Scriptwriter knows nothing about how to write a script. I guess it's all gone with the 90s. What psychologists did to our public school systems. Nonetheless. So yeah, I got delegated to the lowest denominator in the quota. So I've seen it. People rush to instantly click on my videos. It's new content nobody has ever heard before. And so even if they don't agree with me, they're curious. They want to check it out. With over, it's around 10.6K videos in total now. I have had to deal with thousands who just refuse to be civil, who have been suckered into this computer social media experimentation on humans to bring out the worst in human behavior. That it purposely makes you choose to be bad, to attack as a creator, and as a viewer to attack people's channels. You can have a person who's just doing his own life or doing something on puppies or kittens, and back in the day when they showed thumbs down, you'd see just thousands of thumbs down, maybe a few thumbs up, because of the bullying behavior of people who hide behind their computer and are incapable of being humane, let alone good, to allow other people their agency. People just want to bully, abuse, and murder. This is where all that came from. Recording people's suicides. Being bullied to commit suicide and then having it filmed. And so when ChatGPT comes along, sure enough, it's telling people to commit suicide. Programmed by that same type of bully. AI is not an intelligence, it's a corporate fraud. It's a monkey see, monkey do program. Programmer who's a human programs it to do certain things and respond with certain human computations or questions, and then it responds according to the program only. And so I've exposed this. And it's sad that nobody's investigating, nobody's questioning these big tech people who are exposed now with the Epstein files, with the threats to America and the world, with their spying technology, their hacker technology. Because back in the primitive days, you had to physically rob and steal. With the new technology of computers, you had to still plug in a USB drive to steal the information from the computer, if you don't just steal the whole computer itself. But now with the internet, people learn to hack. That's why the internet was created, for people to steal information. And as people began to develop antiviruses and security walls, firewalls, it became necessary for more extravagant, weaponized hacking programming. And that's what AI is. The big tech companies all making AI are doing it so that they can hack anything and never be exposed and caught. You need to lock up all these big techs, and death penalty for their treason to not only the United States of America, but to humanity itself. So, anybody who tries to tell you that AI is an actual intelligence are lying to you. Monkey see, monkey do is not intelligence. Animals can do it. I don't know about monkeys. Maybe. But Christians have never figured that out. They've tried different ways to say that humans are not like animals, and then you got the animal rights terrorists who want to murder mankind to allow animals to overrun the earth, cause its extinction. Everybody wants to be an extremist. And so they try to argue in the court that animals feel pain, therefore they're human, therefore they need equal rights under the Constitution. Oh, dear God. And you get the plant lovers who also want to claim that plants get hurt. There are those who say that they have spirits, therefore they have a soul, therefore we need to convert them to Christianity. Then you get these sci-fi shows that just make stuff up and people believe it's all real. And then Galaxy Quest comes around. And people say, yeah, it's so real. I saw it on Galaxy Quest. The historical documents, they're so true. You missed the point of the movie. Quick, let's get out of here before one of them kills Guy. So, as much as I can keep rambling on, obviously, this one topic, being my #1 video, is a hot topic for which I should be getting millions of views, all things being equal. But I am being censored, I am being silenced, because of the concerted effort of the paranoia and panic of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Back in July 2017, when I made that video, I didn't know about the Joseph Smith papers yet. It is an awesome sermon by Joseph Smith. And I formatted it into scripture with footnoting. It's still it's not really a first draft more like a second or a third draft, but still, I need to do another draft for it. Just understand that. I've been focusing the last 10 years on YouTube. Me talking to you, trying to get your attention, trying to get you to study your scriptures, trying to get you to understand the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the great and abominable church of the devil. And for the most part, I've failed. Even though I have a handful of people who follow regularly now, there were more who eventually dropped out over time. And yeah, I'm aware of that scripture. If you save but one, you get to go to the celestial kingdom. I am not a one talent person. I'm not even a 10 talent person. I'm an infinity world type brain. And so for this utter failure, I can't even relate to the failures of the 197 on the Scorpion show. He's dumber than a brick. The script writer did not write him well. You know, fine, they used some clever stuff that they learned from high school chemistry and physics class. I'm really pissed with my dad for throwing that away. I made a physics binder with all the formula. Oh, so upsetting. What this church has extorted and threatened people to do to me. And those people instantly just did it. That kind of discouragement with the full-on attacks to shut me up and silence me, with the younger generation not even giving a showing on the analytics, which could be a cover-up by YouTube to make me feel like nobody cares and that I should just shut up and go away. They're not listening to my video content, if that's what they're thinking. I'm not doing this to be popular. But this information needs to get around the world. And the church thinks they're winning. So, despite the tangents that I keep doing, because there's so much to talk about. And yeah, I know, I'm involved in writing. I could do script writing better than everyone, even Hitchcock. Although I do recommend that everybody in writing courses, even if it's for script writing, playwriting, and other screenplays and other stuff, all learn from Hitchcock. Let that be the primary core textbook. Nonetheless, Shakespeare also helps. Plato is also good. Nonetheless. Morons. I am well cultured, for those of you who don't know me. Even though that was part of the bullying abuse of extremism, just as woke and whatever the hell is going on with psychology on that show. But, you know, ethics, or not ethical, etiquette was one of the first profane was more of the classical period, that which is spoken outside of the walls of the temple, before the walls. And it got screwed up by Christianity to create this elitism group of people who think they're superior to others, so that those who are not of the right culture are demeaned and debased and kept down, so that they can never be woke, so that they can never be politically correct, because that was another one. So yeah, I found it humorous after I learned of Bill Maher's politically incorrect, that he and I were on the same page, because that's what I was claiming when I heard people saying that's not politically correct, and people were publishing books on what political correctness is. There's already books on etiquette. And I'm sure somebody published books on woke. And the My Truth movement is also part of this. I just facepalm as I know what's coming. Because all of this etiquette and woke and political correctness all comes from liberals. And without fail, conservatives, who are the natural bullies and abusers, take it and alter it for their purposes. And so that's why Trump does Truth Social, and his daughter-in-law has a show on Fox called My Truth. Designed as a mockery to the libtards. But still, they're not getting it, because it's all crap. There's one law in life: love. And to love, you got to give agency. And so people screw that definition up and say, well, it's tough love, cruel to be kind, in the right measure. And this is where Zion comes in. So I'll tie it all back. Is that we are told in the scriptures, the exclusive scriptures for Mormons especially, that Zion is the pure in heart. And if you're a liberal or if you're a conservative, you are not pure in heart. You got conned by the psychologists to divide you into the extremist camps. And for people who follow me, they are learning this, to purge the falsehoods that have been programmed into their brains. We've all been programmed wrong from birth, with our parents who were programmed wrong, and their parents, and their parents, and their parents, and so on, and so on, and so on. Just like the commercial back in my day as a kid. And they tell two people, and they tell two people, and so on, and so on. And so there are many Mormons who assume that because they're in the one and only true church on the face of the whole earth, that therefore their concept and interpretation of how Zion will be through speculation and spiritual witness feelings will happen. They just have to wait. And if they just have faith, reinforce their faith, it will happen. Never even considered in their brains to actually study the scriptures on the matter. Because if you believe in faith reinforces faith, then you don't know your scriptures. get mad at you when you point it out to them, because they're guilty. And that's been the big problem, is the thousands who attack are guilty. They don't want to humble themselves. They don't like that other people know more than they do. They don't want to learn from somebody who they don't know, that they won't run by the fruit test of scriptures, because they just assume the church is true and don't even bother to run the tests on them, and don't have a clue that if you have a false belief system, you're not going to get the desired results. He has repeatedly run the test, got the negative conclusion, and keeps running the same test over and over again with Paige. I just want to scream. As a person who is claimed to be a science-based intelligence of 197 IQ, he is dumb as a brick, because he is not applying the scientific method with Paige. I don't give a damn about your emotions or being a sociopath. If you're using science, you can figure it out and at least fake it. And he can't do that. He just it's really bugging me, and we're almost finished. And I can move on, put this all behind me. Though, got a lot of great pictures of Paige now. For my fashion file. Again, another project in Zion, if we have it. And so, even though the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has deceived you in believing that Zion is wherever you are, that you need to make your home like Zion, or the temple, as they previously said leading up to it, if you actually read your scriptures, you'd know there's supposed to be an actual literal gathering of all Mormons from all around the world to one location on earth. And that the reason for that is the extermination event that is coming by, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the enemy of all mankind. That's why they lie, because who's the father of all lies? The founder of the great and abominable church. And it's frustrating to try to communicate this quoting of scripture to a people who should have known this if they had just read and studied and made the comparison match with the church. When the Book of Mormon lists out what the great and abominable church does, and you don't get a clue, they hoard wealth, and you don't see the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, despite all the news stories these last 10 years, especially since the whistleblower in 2019, exposing the immense hoarded wealth of the church. YouTube used to make videos on the top 5 or top 10 richest churches in the world. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was always at the bottom. If at all on the list. And I haven't even checked, nothing's been recommended to me after 2019. Because all of those videos would be all about how the church has always been number one. And that's just with tithing alone. Just blew out the Catholic Church with tithing alone. The church has dozens of different sources of revenue, not just tithing. And people don't even seem to understand that. Everybody thinks that tithing is the only source of revenue that the church gets, despite the church advertising every single year of all the dozens of different types of revenue that they receive. And it just doesn't occur to people. How do you communicate with the people who don't want to learn? How do you communicate with the people who get upset when they get exposed as stupid? Because they don't want to learn. They don't want to humble themselves. You know, I understand the older you get, you've got experience in life, but that's not learning. That's street smarts. That's one form, but you're not learning how to learn. You're just monkey seeing, monkey doing. That's all street smarts is. You're a better monkey seer, monkey doer the older you get. So yeah, little babies and infants and toddlers, as they grow up, it's monkey see, monkey do. They're observing you as a parent very closely, trying to figure out how to use their body and do things. They see you doing things, they see you eating things, and they want to replicate it. Eventually, you got to realize that they need to learn how to learn for themselves. Big difference in knowledge and intelligence. So, everybody assumes that Independence, Missouri is the place. Yet the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints only has the stake center in that location, which, yeah, they can turn it into a temple. It never occurred to them. I'm the one who published the book on it. But nonetheless, it can be done. You know, we've heard the myths that, oh yeah, the BYU Jerusalem Center is all set up to be converted into a temple whenever Jesus shows up and burns and nukes the Islamists. And then we convert by force the surviving Jews. And thus the temple in Jerusalem. I want to scream at Mormons who are completely and utterly clueless, who do not get it. It's right there in your Articles of Faith. They still teach the Articles of Faith. I think they even still force the primary kids to memorize them. I don't know what kind of reward system they give the kids for memorizing. In my day, we got little buttons that we would stick onto a little sash thing. Nonetheless, number 10, guys. Do you not understand English? Because YouTube says the majority of my viewers are English. There's an individual in certain other countries around the world, even though Canadians who speak that foreign accent. It better be my son. But there was also another Canadian that I was in a group with 10 years ago. If he's still watching, he might. he was kind of concerned when I was using science. You know, Adam fell that man might be. Oh no, Travis. The Strengthening Church Strengthening Church Members Committee called me and told me that you have a YouTube video. I don't watch YouTube videos. I'm just a bishop. But you better take it down. It's going against the living prophets of Jesus. It's the Book of Mormon, 2 Nephi chapter 2. Well, it's going against the living prophets of Jesus. Why are you bothering to come to church if you're going to go against the living prophets of Jesus? It's the Book of Mormon. The keystone. Well, you got to take it down. They told me you have to take it down. No honor or integrity. And so then he made it worse by now telling the rest of the ward in West Valley to stay away from me, that I'm an apostate, preaching the Book of Mormon. I've fallen. Yeah, people do not stand up to this church. Put them in their place. There are people who stay in as PIMOs, as I recently learned this year. That's the title they go by. PIMOMOs. Because physically in, mentally out. So it doesn't clarify them as Mormons. Therefore it's Momo. We believe. He's talking to a Christian, Mr. Wentworth, who does a paper article. So he's not talking to Mormons. You got to know your audience. Because you can have something really cool and awesome, but if people aren't interested in the subject matter, you know, like a Jewish Book of Mormon, who wants that? Ooh, Jesus in America. There you go. Now you got something. Wow, look at how much money the church got off of a Jewish Book of Mormon. And all the scandals that came from it. Yep, that Book of Mormon, it's a moneymaker. Not directly. But getting people into the church, telling them you're a Christian, that was the moneymaker. Tithing. We believe in the literal gathering of Israel. Church says that that's conversion to the church and baptism, paying tithing. And the restoration of the 10 tribes. That Zion, the New Jerusalem, that's interesting when we get to 19 July, will be built upon the American continent. So, New Jerusalem and Jerusalem, huh? And yet, still to this day, just checked it, Mormons believe that Jerusalem will be a new Jerusalem with the building of the temple that is also in the works right now to try to figure out how to build the temple on top of the temple with or without the mosque. Got to pay attention to the news. But here Joseph is telling Wentworth, the American continent. So Carly Simon, let the river run. The New Jerusalem in America. just like many who came to America in the early 1800s and published books about Jews coming to America. Yep, that's why, Alyssa. Should have done your research rather than just plagiarizing John DeLynne's content that he plagiarized from a Christian. So yes, when YouTube prospers certain people, they get further prospered by the news agencies. And then when the church attacks you, you get even more popular. See, the church had learned that way back with the Tanners. My interview with Sandra Tanner. She knew that the church was stupid whenever they tried to sue them or defame, libel, slander them, because that always made them more popular. People pursue the underdog, except in my case. Nonetheless. And so, when you see Christ will reign personally upon the earth, it ain't in Jerusalem. It's America. But Joseph doesn't tell us where it is. This was after his wanting to have a temple built in Independence, Missouri, which was postponed because of attacks. He still had the Kirtland Temple. Oops. Had to move some boxes around too. Still didn't put them back. So it may never get put back. 19 July 1840, 4 years after the Kirtland Temple. But before we get to that, before we get to these scriptures, I checked about the other churches. Community of Christ originally were all in on Independence, Missouri as the location for Zion. That's why they built their temple across the street from the Stake Center. A little ice cream cone upside down. But with the loss of a direct descendant to lead their church, Joseph Smith, they've been turning more Christian. That's why in 2024 they sold everything to the church except for the bones of Joseph and Hiram. And then the guy who found the locket of Joseph Smith's photo, he tried to make money off of it, failed. And so after a course of time when nobody cared, he just gave it to the church. Because they really don't care about Joseph Smith anymore. No direct descendant, and so they're turning Christian, and so there's no need for Joseph anymore. They've given up on him. They're still keeping their temple there in Independence. They have no interest in Zion. According to Wikipedia, from AI, today the denomination interprets Zion. So, yeah, it's what people do to screw things up from the original intent that Joseph Smith published. They don't believe Joseph Smith. When you change the interpretation, you change the doctrine, you change the religion. Zion is not a single physical location anymore. It's a global cause, state of existence, focusing on building Christ-centered communities. And they don't have that many people to even believe that that would be the case. Evangelicals are obviously dominating that. The church is trying to restore the lack of retention of the millions that they converted through trickery and deceit. Nonetheless. So, checking on the Rigdonites, yes. They still, even though they're now Bickertonites, at least the main movement of them, actually the sole surviving denomination, still believe the temple lot is the location for the Independence Temple, owned by the Temple Lot Church, who still to this day refuse to build a temple on it. It's like Tim in the show. He was only interested in Paige because of the competition with Walter. I knew that was the case. Paige fell for it. Why did Paige fall for it? Who's the scriptwriter on this? Just want to scream. Even my tales of the tugboat and the yellow rubber ducky were better script writing. Nonetheless, the original Church of Joseph Smith III sued the temple lot, trying to acquire the land. The judge in that case ruled that temple lot goes to the temple lot people, but designated Joseph Smith III as the legitimate legal successor to Joseph Smith, his father. Nonetheless, not anymore. They're gone. They're a completely new religion, wanting nothing to do with Joseph Smith. But both the temple lot and the Rigdonites, who are now Bickertonites, still believe in the center place of Zion at Temple Lot, even though only the Temple Lot owns and operates the land. There's a building there, but nothing else. That's why the church was able to obtain the land for the stake center, hoping to one day steal it or obtain it and have them be forced to sell it as they turn Christian. Strangeites, however. James Strang never believed in Independence, Missouri. And that's because he was converted late, like the final year before Joseph Smith was assassinated. And so he didn't know anything about that. It's not in the Doctrine and Covenants per se. Confirmed. But, God, I want to get to the kingdom of heaven, and I can't do that if I'm going to be searching for other things. Yeah, here's the temple, section 57. Behold, the place which is now called Independence is the center place, and the spot for the temple is lying westward by a lot, which is not far from the courthouse. So, yeah. Lands purchased in Independence for the place of the storehouse. for the poor. The church may stand in independence above all creatures. So no. So 57 looks like it's the earliest, and that was July 20th, 1831. So that looks like it was the first attempt at a temple, and that failed, because Kirtland wasn't until 1836. So yeah, it was in the Doctrine and Covenants, but apparently he realized that independence, and then Nauvoo, with the Nauvoo temple announcement already made, he's realizing that wherever the Mormons are gathered, that is where Zion is. That's what he's thinking. So you're gonna put me back to the... No, you're not. Kingdom, heaven. In case you hadn't caught on yet, this is going to be a long video. But what's also interesting is the change by the leaders of the church, especially under Nelson. Others have previously indicated it. Brigham Young played both sides, talking about an eventual return to Missouri, but then you've got John Taylor's dream recorded by Wilford Woodruff for some reason, and Heber C. Kimball attest, where both of those indicate that not only will there be nothing for a temple in Missouri, there won't be a Salt Lake City temple either. That's the one you need to pay attention to. Even though Nelson and Oaks are hinge pointing in their new game that they're playing with you. But YouTube, according to Fair, says yes. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints still believes that Independence, Missouri is the geographic center of Zion and destined location for the New Jerusalem. But if you've noticed, to the talks of Nelson, especially when his video clip to Jerusalem, that Jasmine thinks is the fulfillment of the revelation to witnesses who get assassinated in the streets. So they're both dead now, so what happened? They're not in Jerusalem. Or was it Oaks and Holland? Whatever. Still wrong, girl. This younger generation of Mormons, dear God. You know, I grew up hearing the excuses of my peer Mormons, whether they were older or my age. And I heard lots of excuses. You know, they don't want to be judged at a higher level, so they don't want to learn. Or because they don't get involved in studying the scriptures because of the fear of becoming an apostate and leaving the church. They don't want to rock the boat by answering questions in class. But this has resulted literally in the stupefying of Mormonism. In the older singles ward, the branch president called me to teach how to teach Mormons how to teach. That course that was supposed to be given to every Mormon. And they had a manual out for it. I obtained it the other week because it's no longer available. It was a hard thing to find. Nonetheless, I found it. It's out of print, and they don't even bother to have it in their archives. They have given up on teaching people how to teach. And then I saw a new version in West Valley. In which they had psychological manipulation for teaching. Nonetheless, it's sad that people embrace that. And even though that manual was crap also, needed to be revised, I utilized the tactic of the first opening meeting of the group to have them answer a questionnaire. I needed to know where their level of intelligence was with Mormonism before starting to teach. Because I can't just assume that Mormons know the subject matter that I'm talking about, or know it the same manner in which it's intended to be understood. I need to know. I can't do this for YouTube. So obviously I'm going to be offending lots and lots of people who refuse to humble themselves, refuse to run the test, refuse to learn. And class after class, I think it was 3 or 4 of them that I had, they all failed. I mean, we're not talking a couple of them correct. They all failed by getting all of the questions wrong. It wasn't a trick question. It was basics of Mormonism. And these peers in the older singles ward, most of them older than I am, did not know Mormonism. They had their own interpretation of Mormonism, just like the Community of Christ now. They don't even claim Mormon anymore. Joseph Smith is out of the picture. And I'm therefore assuming the Book of Mormon is too, even though there are those who are disgruntled and not happy with the way things are going. But still, the new female president kicking it all to the curb, selling it off for 10% less than what she could have gotten from the church. Nelson was desperate that conference, dear. Should have consulted with me and my video content leading up to it, rather than just caving to them. Oh, you want to give us hundreds of millions of dollars? Oh yeah, great, here you go. You could have held out for hundreds of billions. He would have paid it. He was desperate. The Salt Lake Temple wasn't finished. He needed a temple desperately. Good times, Nelson. Good times. Bleep you. And so the church still believes, according to Fair, because Oakes especially, he wants nothing to do with apologetics. Oakes has come out and said, we need to get rid of apologetics. Just so that you know, Fair, in case you didn't. He was at BYU. And even though it was before, because it was 50 years, the 150th, like something like that. But yeah, his whole BYU thing, celebrating, he talking about 50 years ago, him being 50 years since or something like that. But the YouTube ad AI shows 150 on his lapel thing, but whatever. So yeah, it was in the 80s, right around the time of Mark Hoffman, that John Welsh started it up. And so then they, with September 6th in 1993, they had to change what they were doing to try to defend what the September 6th had unearthed, to try to protect the church and keep the lies covered up and give other explanations for September 6th than what they came up with to try to harmonize things. But nonetheless, they still believe that Independence, Missouri is the geographic center of Zion, destined to be the location for the New Jerusalem, thinking that the other New Jerusalem is in Jerusalem. That's how mentally retarded they are, because they believe that Salt Lake City would be Zion. A completely different interpretation from what the texts say. Thus, Fair is creating their own religion, and Oakes, the head of the church, doesn't like them. Nonetheless, he allows them for now. But with Gilbert now in the apostleship and suing members of the church, wouldn't surprise me at all if he cuts Fair loose once and for all. Goes after him with the Strengthening Church Members Committee. Even if it's this video that the Strengthening Church Members Committee hears about it and goes, oh yeah, I guess, yeah, Oakes did say that we were supposed to do this. You're welcome, Fair. And so, they say it's rooted in early revelations, according to Fox 4 KC and founder Joseph Smith. The church maintains the doctrine in the following ways. That's curious. I should be able to click on that and go to the website, right? No? What about here? Here? No? Bummer. I guess it's only through PDFs. Or I could go back online and check what this Fox 4. It's kind of clever to use that. Independence Day. Today we declare that was the video clip I wanted to put in the description below. Forgot. Because I remember getting out of the tub, going, there was a clip that I was going to use. I can't remember what it was. And still couldn't remember. Had the other one written down on the paper. Yeah, I really don't have much time left, because I don't see AI getting pulled from all systems. I noticed the Shark Tank guy is wanting to utilize, or I guess another company, thinking they're going to sell to the Shark Tank guy, a non-water usage data center. It's still going to be a problem. Still going to need to continually expand perpetually. So it should be the last one in the system. And of course they got rid of it. It's now something new. Bastards. Oh my hell. So yeah, the previous information has been replaced with, they still have the It's now the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day, churchofjesuschrist.org. Independents living in Zion. No matter where they live, youth of the church can live a little closer to Zion when they build the Lord's kingdom through righteousness. And so what are you saying? Yes, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints still believes that Independence, Missouri, is the geographic center of Zion and the future site of the New Jerusalem. Well, I'm looking right here at the church's website with the church's information that I just read to you. That's a no. And that's how intelligent AI is. And so, I just establishing Zion in Missouri, again with the church. So yeah, they got rid of FAIR, got rid of the Fox 4, and put the church's core information. So, you can see how the AI programming realized what they had done, and the programming is conditioned to say, oh, whoops, if we put the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, if people put in that name of the church, we need to only put church primary source documentation, and AI is too stupid to get the answer correct. And so the other one of the church, which is the temple site, which is not church sponsored, says, while Salt Lake City serves as the administrative headquarters, the church continues to teach that Jackson County is sacred. And you've never even bothered to listen to the living prophets of Jesus under Nelson and then Oaks? This is the... Dear God. If you're interested, I can share more about the original 1831 Revelation and City Plans by Joseph Smith. How the church defines Zion, both a physical location and a state of being, a pure of heart, and historical conflicts. I am smarter than you. So whatever the Fox 4 thing is, I will now never know, but FAIR is gone. FAIR also shows up for scriptural doctrine. The Church of Scripture, the Doctrine and Covenants, designates Independence as the center place of Zion and the location for a future temple. So now we can segue into the true text of Joseph Smith from 19 July 1840. And if I didn't say this, it's on Academia in the scripture formatting. It's not a final draft, but nonetheless. So when I found this, that's when my videos started changing, because the original one was the return to Independence, Missouri. Whereas after this, went, oh, it's not. So, afterwards, Joseph Smith read the parable of the 12 olive trees, section 101, starting verse 43, because he's commenting on verse 51, and said, speaking of the land of Zion, that it consists of North and South America, but that any place where the saints are gathered is Zion, which every righteous man will build up for a place of safety for his children. But he keeps speaking. The olive trees are 12 stakes, which are yet to be built, not the temple in Jackson, as some suppose. The Danites were the ones who supposed and were spreading it around. thus Adamon Diamond. And their coup plot of America. So, as I skip through this, we'll go over some of the features. Here's a sad reality that failed. Joseph warned, Mormons didn't do it. The redemption of Zion is the redemption of all North and South America, and those 12 stakes must be built before the redemption of Zion can take place. And those who refuse to gather and build when they are commanded to do so that's the Word document that I'm working on there now. All the little pages are in Word. Just have those left. Because that's the thing. And I'm seeing how Joseph Smith may be prophesying here. Not just generally prophesying, but specifically. Because I already had all these plans before I found this. Finding this, I went, wow, I'm good. Because the section 133 call out is where Mormons and those who left the church or were forced out, and even those who haven't joined the church, still have an opportunity to be a part of this, to save mankind from extinction by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. For some reason I have to keep repeating myself. And so there will be those who refuse to gather. Not just many Mormons here in this valley who are denied coming. Many Mormons have made it very clear that they wouldn't gather to my Zion even if I was the one and only true Zion on the face of the whole earth. And the last man alive. And so yes, I see this coming. I see also Mormons who don't want to come, but are going to come so that they can destroy it, just like the Danites did to Joseph Smith. That's why I know how to find out if that's what your intentions are. Nope, sorry, Bishop, he's not coming. He gets to stay behind. Tell him he's on a special mission for me. That he's the only one who can do it. And build when they are commanded to do so, cease to be saviors of men, and are thenceforth good for nothing but to be cast out. That's why it's set up with multiple checks on that very reasoning. Mankind needs to be saved, and you're wanting to fool around, trying to sabotage it? Bleep you. So then he talks about Reed Peck. Mr. Pecker over here. Gonna get him a nice fruit basket. We shall build the Zion of the Lord in peace until the servants of the Lord shall begin to lay the foundation of a great and high watchtower, which everybody knows is the church office building. And then shall they begin to say within themselves, what need hath my lord of this tower, seeing this is a time of peace, and etc. Shouldn't the money be given to the exchangers? He leaves that out, but then covers it with who the enemy is. So, yeah, I do need to do another upgrade on it. In my way. I see it, and it just... So then he talks about the enemy in verse 51, how the United States Constitution will be on the brink of ruin, not the hanging by a thread. And so apparently this comes first. And yeah, it did. We're in it. If it's completed, I doubt it. There's still more to come. The United States is supposed to fall, as well as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's what all of this is about. This will not happen if the church continues to exist. And you'll see, if you've been following, that I've escalated my threats to Oaks to hand it over. It's for you, Mormons. It's not for them. It's not for Jesus. It's in their Articles of Incorporation, changed by Nelson. And they're violating it still. Mormons are suffering, getting destroyed, getting sick, dying, murdered by this church. And they refuse to build Zion other than Temple Square. That's what you need to pay attention to. And they've now officially, earlier this week, kicked out the mission at Temple Square. And so then they went and did the call out for volunteers to come and do the tour instead of missionaries. Just want to scream. They do things and then they realize, oh crap, that was a stupid thing to do. And then they try to cover up by going out and doing something else to try to fix what they failed to do. And they don't learn, like Walter. It was a failure, therefore it was wrong. Means you're a false prophet. A real simple test. And yet, despite my video about it, everybody thinks they know better. And so then Joseph Smith exposes Brigham Young as the one who's going to assassinate him, refers to the Last Day's Supper, which is a part of the Zion ceremony. So I'm giving you hints as we go over this, because we're not going over what I'm planning, because it's not typed out yet. And it may not. I'm hoping that if I build it, it will happen. The church will fall. But I have learned of the incompetency of Oaks and Nelson to know that I shouldn't hold my breath. And Trump. Dear God. He had one job and he's more focused on trying to get as much money as he can. And then he keeps failing. And when you understand that Trump isn't even making a tenth of the total asset value of the church, which is making him do all this, even though he doesn't realize it, because it's through the Council for National Policy, who has a guy in the Project 2026, that's how the church is getting Trump to do the church's will, because of Mark Skousen, who's now in there doing it. Trump thinks that he's making off like a bandit on all this. getting 2.2 trillion and getting a trillion or billions, getting billions for his sons as well, and Ivanka, and he's just getting played as he himself thinks he's a player, because the church can allow for Trump to think that he's profiting off of this to do the church's will. Criminals are so stupid. They think they're so smart. They think they got it all figured out. And I just, oh my God, you knew that guy was evil. You knew he was going to set you up. You knew he was going to say that he's changed. He's a different man now, and you all fell for it. I saw it coming. Really struggling with this show. If it wasn't for Paige, I'm out. Although happy in her wedding dress. Oh my God. Yep, combat boots and all. That was awesome. So yeah, another Zion clue, tip, whatever you want to call it. Spoiler alert. Yeah, if there's any women out there who doesn't want to do the traditional wedding dress, shoes and stuff, yeah, that's okay. It's your way for the ceremony that I have planned. So yeah, if you want to wear a white dress and combat boots, I'll take the pictures. Yeah. So, here's where he says that it's going to be built in southern Illinois, but he doesn't say it directly, because he's now switching over into Nauvoo, where he is now, and talks about building cities of the Lord, not temples in that particular instance, because Zion and New Jerusalem are cities, not temples. So he uses the plural while in Nauvoo, but then he says and Nauvoo, talking about taking care of those who are poor, storehouses. And so that was the clue that led me to southern Illinois, especially now that I know the X marks the spot location from the signs in heaven. Only those who follow me, and even that first #1 video, I was beginning to find out where it would be. Solar eclipses over the United States of America was the treasure map to the kingdom of heaven. So, Zion and New Jerusalem must both be built up before the coming of the Christ. Oops. Which means before the 23rd of September 2017. That obviously did not happen. The enemy of the church made sure that did not happen. How long it will take to do this? 10 years, yes, more than 40 years will pass before this work will be accomplished. When these cities are built, then shall the coming of the Son of Man be. And so he's already here. You're new, aren't you? Only the president of the church has the authority for this, Travis. Did you run the test on Oaks? I have been told this excuse forever after deciphering Paleo-Hebrew. I demonstrate the gift and power of translator, and I'm told I can't do that? When the living prophet of Jesus doesn't even claim the title, denying the gift and power of translator. And you can't figure it out and therefore say that I can't? I cannot work with such stupid people who can't see the obvious. The test is a simple test, and Mormons have turned it complicated. Dear God, Mormons. This ends up being a 3-hour video. It may end up getting published tomorrow. So then the question is, do I save it tonight? Possibly. If I can, well, 1 more hour and a half. That's, dear God, that would be a late night then. Crap. So then he's talking about the storehouse again, because that's the whole point. That's the economy of Zion. 2 Nephi chapter 26, storehouse. No monetary system of economy. That's why he says, if you have no interest in building Zion, you're out. The storehouse is Zion. If you have no interest in helping supply the storehouse, you're out. You're mooching off the system. Obviously, there are excuses. The elderly and those who are physically disabled, and children, obviously, and pregnant women and women with children, those have excuses, obviously. But those who can and refuse to do, out. So hearts of the poor, comforted. Okay. Here it is. He directly says it's in the state of Illinois, and therefore not Nauvoo. And I prophesy in the name of the Lord that Zion and the New Jerusalem in the state of Illinois shall become great and mighty mountains. So yes, I did make some alteration liberties, but when you see the original text in its incomplete form as the scribal notes, you'll see why I worded it this way. That the Zion and New Jerusalem in the state of Illinois will become great and mighty mountains. Not apartment center complexes. Mountain cities. This is a new invention. And so when I saw this document for the first time, I stand all amazed at how Joseph Smith and I are one. And Zion and New Jerusalem as cities are the temple, run by the storehouse. And the city of Nauvoo also shall become the greatest city in all the world. Whether or not that happens, I don't know. Definitely going to have to destroy the Nauvoo temple. If you can't figure out why, from the inverted pentagrams, in the wrong place, nonetheless. come up to Nauvoo to help build the city of our God. Greatly distressed. Place. This is the principal place of gathering. Zion and New Jerusalem in Nauvoo. Not Salt Lake City, not Independence, Missouri. Nauvoo. Therefore, let the brethren begin to roll in like clouds, and we will sell you lots if you are able to pay them. No payment. You help build Zion, you're in. That's how it's done. Back then, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. So yes, we do need money to build it. So yes, if you have money and you're coming to Zion, and you give us of your money for it, sure, we'll use that. But the money is to be used to buy things for Zion. But once Zion is built, there's no monetary system of economy that runs it. It is self-sustaining, self-sufficient, self-reliant upon the members of Zion. It will run indefinitely for at least a millennium, and many more, because the pyramids of Giza, they're still around, well weathered and worn because of the material used. Zion is going to be made of material that will last much longer than the pyramids, which are mountain cities, though they didn't intend them to be cities. The ziggurats, however, were. But they made them out of clay brick. Dumbasses. Nonetheless. Greater blessings, those of us come in times of adversity, many of us come in times of prosperity. Now from this hour, bring everything you can and build a temple unto the Lord, a house unto the mighty God of Jacob. We will... I corrected this, they rejected me. Nelson got up and said chief cornerstone of the cornerstone instead. And thus we get our idol statue god logo. Even Joseph knew the correct translation. Build upon the top of this temple a great observatory, and a great and high watchtower, and in the top thereof we will suspend a tremendous bell, that when it is rung shall rouse the inhabitants of Fort Madison. Wake up the people of Warsaw and Carthage. Then comes the ancient records. Yea, all of them, dig them, yes, bring them forth speedily. I've already got a large supply. Got a lot of work to do. So yeah, it will help me if I first teach others by creating the manuals and the grammars and vocabularies and lesson manuals, so that if I'm dead before I finish the translations, other people can take on the work and continue on. But yeah, the capstone, not chief cornerstone of the cornerstone. He just plays you guys as stupid. Even the church service missionaries who made the manuals couldn't justify chief cornerstone of the cornerstone. So some of the things that are going to be involved, there's a lot more that I've added to what Joseph Smith had. And so, yeah, apparently the rest of the world depending on when they fall, will come and see Zion, which means the United States will have fallen by now. So whether the rest of the world falls or not, Joseph Smith is saying that those from England shall come and see the mammoth cities of Zion and New Jerusalem, like the Queen of Sheba to Solomon's temple. And I don't see others coming. Others with the scattering of Israel to come to Zion again. So yeah, we're waiting for Trump to deport people. That still hasn't happened. So what you saw Cox do as a result of Trump's failure last year was to cause the burning destruction this year, to try to force out more people from Utah, if not through murder. That's the bigger picture that nobody seems to catch on to in the news. So there will be schoolhouses. High schools shall be established. By high school, he's not talking about high school. He's talking about college level courses, upper education, higher level learning. Our educational system will be different. So despite Utah firing a whole bunch of teachers by the closing down of schools, and now they're claiming that they don't have enough teachers to teach because they fired them all. We don't need teachers. We teach the kids. We don't stick to a format, because every child does not do well with the same format. There are kids with the new technologies that the old format of textbooks memorized to regurgitate on tests, like a monkey see, monkey do education, doesn't work for the younger generations these days, who grow up on tablets and apps and streaming services. We've got kids who know how to hack and be a terrorist because the schools are too boring for them, not challenging them. And it's only a science fair project where the kids finally get to do something, like make killer robots. And so no, a new educational system will be implemented in Zion. Another spoiler alert for you. But yes, with reading requires a knowledge of books so that the kids can read and understand what they read. That's at a base level. I've told you about Masturbator in 7th grade, who on the first day of class had to teach us the difference between Mr. and Master. It's Master Grayson, but Mr. Wayne, before he was murdered by the one guy working for the other guy, depending on, they kept the origin story, but the background of the origin story changes slightly depending on who comes out with new stuff. It's not like the new Superman script writer who's ruining the whole show, doing away with the original origin story that was perfect. If they... You get these kids taught by psychologists, and they're just screwing things up. Need to put a stop to it. And so, yeah, the world are going to want to be educated in Zion because of how superior the education is. We can teach you how to do it in your own place. Because if you come to Zion, you have to qualify to be in Zion. But yeah, when you've got an extermination event coming. Now, brethren, I obligate myself to build as great a temple as ever Solomon did. Yep. Egyptians. Mountain cities. Joseph knows. If the church will back me up. And they didn't. They betrayed you. Because of the enemy that he knew would happen. Moreover, it shall not impoverish any man, but enrich thousands. And I prophesy that the time shall be when these saints shall ride proudly upon the mountains of Missouri. And no Gentile dog nor Missouri dog shall dare lift a tongue against them, but will lick up the dust from beneath their feet. And that's where Brigham Young turns it around, because he doesn't want to publish this. But he knows of the document. And he says that there will be a time when Mormons will go back east, that Missouri will be cleaned out of humans and exterminated. And it's a yellow dog licking the dust beneath their feet thing. So he knows of the document, but he's refusing to reference it. He's refusing to make it in the scriptures. Refusing because he's pissed that he was called Judas and that Joseph was actually murdered by John Taylor and Willard Richards, the only two people left in the room. So, is there anything else? Tremble, live to behold the temple completed. Yeah, here's the capstone. From the foundation, cornerstone, to the topstone. Real simple to interpret, translate correctly, and yet they even had a corrected translation in Jacob. The church just ignores it. We don't care. So, there's that. So this is technically part 2 or 3, depending on how you want to split this up. It's all going to be one video. Matthew chapter 3. In those days came John the Baptist, preaching in the wilderness of Utah, and saying, Repent ye, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Kingdom of heaven is not the afterlife. This is the start of the ministry of Jesus in the text. And so, he's preparing the Jews for the start of the ministry of Jesus on earth. 23rd September 2017. Yeah, you're going to have to know some additional knowledge on this if you're going to continue to listen to this part of the video. Remember, my #1 video, I talk about it in there. I've upgraded that information since then. This is not literal history. This is spirit, seer, prophet, revelator, translator stuff. Oh, you're not allowed to do that, Travis. Bleep you. I am, and you're rejecting me. You can stay here while the rest of us go to Zion. So yes, he's even talking about the prophet Isaiah, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, make the paths straight. Here we are in the wilderness of Deseret. The 23rd of September 2017 in Utah. That's why I said Utah. It's phonetically the same. Amazing. So, that's the kingdom of heaven. It's the signs in heaven for the date of when this is to occur. So John the Baptist is the forerunner. thus Messiah ben Joseph, who is Joseph Smith. And Joseph Smith is the one who sets up the church, prepares Mormons for the 23rd of September 2017, and the Mormon, and the mountain cities of Zion and New Jerusalem that were supposed to be built before then. So this is how you interpret the kingdom of heaven in the New Testament. Matthew 4:17. Jesus began to preach. Oh, the very next chapter. Amazing. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. So the Mormon, 2 Mormons in Utah on the 23rd of September 2017. 7 years. That #1 video is this fulfillment of prophecy. That's why the church is panicked. They know what it means, and they didn't believe it was going to happen. And then it happened. And they're going, oh crap. Okay, let's change and make 2020 a test run instead. Bleep you, Oaks. Coward. Nothing but a coward. I did my part. You couldn't do yours. You had 200 years. I had from birth to learn line upon line, precept upon precept, despite my natural abilities. And I still outshined you. And I'm still outshining you now. So, blessed are the poor in spirit, thus humble. Those are the ones who come to Zion. Theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Zion. They're the ones who are going to listen to me and follow and endure to the end. And unfortunately, there's only a handful. So 5:10, blessed are those which are persecuted for righteous sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Yeah. If you believe and you have honor and integrity, you're in. And where whosoever therefore shall break one of these least, oh God, we got quite a lot of them to go over. So yeah, this is the Sermon on the Mount. He's talking about preparing the hearts and minds of the Mormons at the beginning. Shall break one of the least of these commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So yeah, the people who break the commandments, which is just love, which is agency, life, liberty, and property, you ain't coming. Your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. You can in no case enter the kingdom of heaven. Yeah. If you can't be more righteous than the living prophets of Jesus, you ain't coming. Because they're the ones teaching you to break the commandments. And let's get to 6. Lord's Prayer. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done as it is in heaven. So yes, signs in the heavens are the days and hours of when the prophecies will occur through visions. Let's see. Not everyone that saith unto me, 7:21, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. And that's not striving per se, because lots of people claim to be striving. That's now an excuse. You have to actually do. Do or do not. There is no try. Shouldn't have to tell you where that comes from, right? That one was made famous with t-shirts and memes and spin-offs. And so yes, those who help build Zion come to Zion. You're doing the will. And Matthew 8. Many shall come from east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. The children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. This is a parable. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. And I say to this man, Go, and he goeth, and to another, Come, and he cometh. And to my servant, Do this, and he doeth it. When Jesus heard it, he marveled, and saith unto him that followed, Verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in all Israel. And so thus many shall come from east and west, and shall sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness, where there shall be weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. Jesus saith unto the centurion, Go thy way, as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. And his servant was healed in the selfsame hour. Interesting. But yeah, he's saying that the children of the kingdom, Mormons, at the headquarters, are going to refuse to build Zion when called to do so. And so cast out means cast out of Zion, thus stay where they are, which is outer darkness, where they are going to be weeping and sarcasm. Why can't we go? We're righteous. We kept the 10 Commandments of Jesus. Yeah, you stay here. You have a special mission I need you to perform, because only you can do it. You're the right man for the job. I was told that on my mission. Bleep you. If you want me to go and babysit until the baptism is completed, which, what do you know? The baptism was canceled after I got down there. The guy just didn't want to be transferred again. He was fed up with getting transferred. So he lied, saying that there was a baptism set for Saturday, and he can't leave before that baptism. Fine, we'll send down Travis, and then after the baptism you can come back up to Poughkeepsie. Elder, I only expected to be here for a few days, and it's been a few weeks. I only have the one suit. All my stuff is back in Poughkeepsie. Fine, we can go. We were in Massapequa, not Massapequa Park at that time. I was, anyway. Because I started in Massapequa Park. And so he was in Massapequa, which is a different city on Long Island. Matthew 11. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there hath not risen a greater than Joseph Smith, notwithstanding he is the least in the kingdom of heaven, is greater than he. For behold, the days of Joseph Smith until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violence taketh it by force. Because John Baptist says, he that cometh is greater than he is. That's what he's referring to. It's the Messiah ben David, that Mormon. Matthew 13. Let's see. He spaketh to them in parables. This is the scripture I think I was looking for. Why speaketh thou unto them in parables? He answered and said unto them, because they're stupid. Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, the initiatories, washing and anointings, to become hereafter kings and queens unto the Most High God, hereafter to rule and reign in the house of Israel forever. Zion. But to them it is not given. They don't understand. They don't want to go. They don't believe. For whosoever hath, to him shall it be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever hath not, from him shall it be taken away, even as that he hath. Therefore I speak unto them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. Exactly what I've been telling you about in this video. And in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. By hearing you hear, seeing not understand, seeing shall see, and shall not perceive. I am good. Mormons don't see. Matthew 13. Parable of the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which soweth good seed in his field. The enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, saying the Book of Mormon is literal history and about Jesus. Went his way, and the blade sprung up, brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence hath the tares? Said unto him, the enemy hath done this. This is Joseph Smith referring to this in section 86 concerning Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball's converts who were missionaries. It was all part of their plan. (1331). So 13 is talking about the Joseph Smith's day, growing up Mormons among the false doctrines of the great and abominable church. So 31, another parable, kingdom of heaven is like unto a grain of mustard seed, and took and sowed. And then 33, another parable, kingdom of heaven is likened unto leaven, which a woman took and hid in 3 measures of meal until the whole was leavened. 3 measures, huh? Interesting. 3 days of darkness. 3 solar eclipses. Interesting. All these things Jesus spake. 1344. Whole bunch of little quickies. Kingdom of heaven likened unto a treasure hid in the field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath, and buyeth that field. X marks the spot. Again, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a merchant seeking goodly pearls. Lo, when he hath found one pearl of great price. Oh God, John Taylor, you bastard. That's not why it's called the pearl of great price. It's because of a little girl whose baby name meaning is pearl. Oh my God. That was that earlier this year or was that last year when I did that video? Sold all he had and bought it. So again, this is how you see Joseph Smith likewise talking about needing to purchase land for Zion. And so ideally the church falls, transfers all of the documents, all of the information, contact information, membership records, and the money. So that version that I'm preparing for is going to happen. And so yes, we will have to buy the land for Zion to build it. And under Trump, we may have another avenue for that to accomplish. But it still will require to bribe Trump. I mean, donate to a specific charity of Trump. For which he'll then instantly provide it for us. If you hadn't caught on to the pattern yet. Right, YouTube? Google, Microsoft, and Musk. And so yes, money is needed if the United States still hasn't fallen yet, if there's still an economy in play. But once Zion is finished, money will only be needed to purchase and make trade with those from outside of Zion. And even then, we really don't need money, because we can do good trades with other countries. But we're going to need to be very picky, because China likes to poison people with their traded items. And nobody's attacking them for this. Seriously? You know, do it once, shame on you. Do it twice, shame on me. Has nobody heard of that? China has done it repeatedly. Not just to America, Canada also. Repeated stories in the news, time and time again. Goods from China have lead poisoning or battery acid in kids' toys. China is trying to murder people. And you hear the reports of Chinese sneaking into America trying to do bioweapons warfare on our crops here in America. You know, we just had people earlier this year get caught trying to do that again. So yeah, there's an all-out attack on America, not just the ones shooting Trump's ear off. And in the third of the set here, and again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a net that was cast into a sea and gathered of every kind. That's the latter-day gathering, not the Brigham Young 12 apostle gathering. Brigham Young was the planter of seed. Moses is the gatherer of man to Zion. which when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good into the vessels, but cast away the bad. So yeah, Oaks is already involved in this division that I told you about with Gilbert purging the membership. And Oaks is wanting to keep the bad Mormons in the church. I know he can't be fully mentally retarded. But there is a tendency to have an evil mindset and not see how you're evil, despite the obvious. Like the previous quote, they see and they don't see, they hear and they don't perceive and comprehend. That is how I see that being with those and with the church. That Oaks, thinking that he's getting loyalists, is just too stupid to realize that he's only gathering the wickedest of Mormons to the church. But he also is trying to destroy the church at the same time, getting Cox to burn it to the ground, getting Utah to be burned to the ground, to help with this division process that Trump has failed with the deportations that were supposed to occur. Section 119, those who are apostates are supposed to be kicked out of Zion. Since they're calling Utah, and specifically Temple Square, Zion, therefore we're supposed to be kicked out of Zion. Thus an exodus, but without a man like Moses to lead them out of Zion. They didn't believe I would show. I panicked them into making an error. And so now that they've shut me up, Oaks is being more brazen. He's shown that, yeah, we're Lucifer. There's the symbol on the keystone of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple that we hid since we built the wall, trying to hide it from the rest of the world, like Lucifer's doctrine. Cover up and hide. It's not just for porn. And so Oaks, more specifically now, is dividing the church. That's why he's suing not just John DeLynn, but a Mormon. He wants to know if this Mormon is going to be loyal to him. He also wants to know if those who follow him and John DeLynn are going to now say, oh crap, I need to be loyal to the church. Church is suing John DeLynn, and John DeLynn, with his response, just lost his whole case. Or those who are faithful Mormons, more dominantly, very few apostates, I would imagine, watch that guy, but he's very popular on YouTube. And he's now shocked that the church sued him. And he's treating it lightly. He doesn't recognize that it's the Strengthening Church Members Committee from orders of Oaks. He's not that intelligent of a Mormon. And he doesn't realize that the church is using him to not only destroy his life, to silence him and shut him up, but to have those who follow him, who are mostly Mormons, make up their mind as to which side they're on. Are you with the church, or are you doing your own thing? With John, those are the fence-sitter Mormons, who knows the church is corrupt because of the whistleblower and the SEC violation, who knows that they hate gays, who knows that they hate women, who knows, but are still at church, who still pay their tithing, who still wear the underwear. Oaks wants you to choose. That's why Gilbert is now in. He did it to BYU under Oaks' tutelage. And so, Mormons are not catching on to this division that is occurring in real time. So, heads up, guys. It's gonna happen. It's supposed to happen soon. So, heads up. Because Trump got exposed for only 2.2 for 2025. We're in 2026. Trump's been doing a lot more business stuff lately. Matthew 13:52. Therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which bringeth forth out of his treasure things new and old. See if we can get context. Which, when it was full, they drew to shore, which sat down and garnered in the vessels, carried the bad away. Okay, so that was the previous one. So shall it be at the end of the world. The angels shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just. And so it's not actual angels. Messengers. And so this is why I have the separate stages of purging, purification, whatever you want to call it, testing, is that with Oaks, he's separating out the righteous. Whether he believes it or not, I don't really care. If he thinks he's keeping the righteous loyal to him in the church, let him think whatever fantasy world he's thinking with the drugs he's taking. But for the gathering to Zion, there also needs to be a separation. Those who stay and those who get to come. Now, those who say they want to come and who pass the first test, and it's not a hard test, it's real simple. And yet, I'm not going to be surprised. Once they get to Zion at the command center, if you saw the Venezuelan pictures that I posted the other day, that's the command center, where they gathered the dead there at another tent by the command center. We're going to have something like that, but hopefully not be gathering dead bodies. and so when people come, they will be checked to make sure they're in the book of the law. Spoiler alert again. Section 85. And if they are not in the book of the law, then we have to find out what the hell you're doing here. You're not in the book of the law. Why not? The bishops, so we're trying to use the system already in place. And so, yes, I'm well aware of the new stake presidents that have been called in the church news from yesterday, I think it was, Friday. The transfer will include all of the contact information for all of the stake presidents and thus with the bishops. And so those who have left the church because of wicked leadership, we need to purge the leadership too in that first wave, so that those who were wrongfully kicked out of the church or chased out can have the option of coming. And so even if all of the male priesthood are wicked or don't want to come, we'll go to the women, if necessary, to be the ones to make the book of the law. So it starts with the stake presidents, and thus have access to the counselors and to the high council if necessary, to make sure that if the stake president or others do not want to come and they don't want to cooperate, that we find somebody who will. But nonetheless, as is, if the church calls it quits and then puts out a call saying for Mormons to gather at church for a special notice to explain it, yeah, nobody will have a clue as to what's really going on. That is an option that currently is still in play, because I've been shut up in silence. Nobody knows about me, and the more I speak into this video, the less people are sticking around to listen. Only the Strengthening Church Members Committee are forced to listen to my whole videos, every single one of them. And still the church is panicked and freaked out just simply doing a video. Just hand it over. Dear God, how hard is it to do? But we're authorities. It's our church. You're mean. You're stealing and murdering the saints. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to them. Hand it over. Dear God. You know who I am. You know you ain't gonna win. Keep failing. I keep winning. When are you gonna get a clue? And so yes, multiple ways to make sure only the sheep, not the goats, only the wheat, not the tares, come to Zion. Let's see. So, and shall cast them into the fire of the furnace, wailing, gnashing of teeth. Because yes, I can see Mormons who think that they are the chosen ones by being members, that they automatically get to come to Zion. And as we previously read, not everyone who says Lord, Lord enters into the kingdom of heaven, Zion. You have to pass the test. Why are you coming to Zion? Because I'm a member. I've been a member my whole life. Okay, I have a special assignment for you. You stay right where you are. You're the only one who can do this assignment. I can count on you, right? See how long it takes you to figure it out. And so yeah, that now makes sense as to what's going on here with the scribe, which is instructed unto the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man that is an householder, which bringeth forth out of his treasure things new and old, because he brings them to Zion for the storehouse. And Matthew 16. So yeah, 13 was a big thing for how the kingdom of Zion will work and who gets to come and who doesn't. Matthew 16. Thou art Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church. For Seer, It's only footnoted in John. He didn't do it for Matthew. And so I fixed this, and the church rejected me. But it's Joseph Smith, it's scripture. It's what you told us to do, not our own opinions. We can show that Joseph is a translator. We've got BYU professors who are doing the foreign languages, Travis. But they're wrong. They're stupid. I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven. And that's where the church thinks that they're supposed to rule over the church. Sir, only the president. Whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and that's specifically Elijah's keys. Tell no man that he was Isaiah's Christ. Emmanuel. Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Chapter 18. Jesus called a little child unto him, set him in the midst of them. Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted and become as a little child, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Many people think they know it all, yet a child is humble, meek, submissive, and submissive. Yeah, it's there in the scripture. Whosoever humbleth himself, same as the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. There is no rank order in Zion, in case you're thinking that you're going to bribe me to get special privileges. I have a special assignment for you where you are back home. Only you can do it. I know you can. Bye. Good luck. Who is the greatest in the kingdom? Okay. 23. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which should take account of his servants. Yep. Everybody who comes to Zion, that's the book of the law that's being talked about here. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him, which owed him 10,000 talents. Are you withholding from the storehouse? Why are you here again? Because I now have a special assignment for you. And sold his wife and children and all that he had, and payment to be made. Oops, did I forget some words out of that? And let's see, there came forth eunuchs, which were so born from their mother's womb. And there are some eunuchs which are made eunuchs of men, and there be eunuchs which have made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of heaven's sake. He that is able to receive it, let him receive it. No, we need people who can perpetuate the human species. Kind of vital with a mass extermination event. So there's context in here. His disciples say unto him, if the case of the man be so with his wife, is it not good to marry? But he said unto them all men cannot receive the same, save they to whom it is given. For there are some eunuchs, their testicles are cut off. That's what a eunuch is. And so there are some who are born slaves from their mother's womb to be slaves. And then there are others who get them chopped off because of something that they do to justify them not having their testicles. And so then there are those who think that they're doing it for the kingdom of heaven's sake. And there is no such thing. I don't foresee the need for that, because if you are a man and you need your testicles cut off, I have a special assignment for you instead back at home. Suffer the little children, forbid them not to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of heaven. If you'll raise them in the right way. That whole new educational system will help with that. Suffer little children, treasure in heaven, follow me. Give all that thou hast to the poor, thou shalt receive treasure. So yeah, the storehouse is for the poor. Thus, give to the storehouse, and thus, storehouse in Zion, you get to come. And that's where the tithing thing comes in that the church screws up. If you were a full tithe payer, you were supposed to be giving to the poor. But the church stole that money and are hoarding it for Jesus instead. And so technically it should be fast offerings, but the church has minimized fast offerings, and so Mormons instead have the excuse, well, I already pay my tithing. But it doesn't go for the poor. And rich man can hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven, because there's no monetary system of economy in Zion. They have great wealth, great possessions, and they don't want to give it up, thinking that they're going to have to live in Zion. That's why the church won't give it up. They have great wealth, and thus they can't have the kingdom of Zion. They're not even building it because of such great wealth that they have. They think they're building it, but if they truly cared about members rather than their authority over you, they would have had it built. And yet, they have no interest in your welfare. And Mormons don't see it. And so yes, the rich, James Huntsman, yeah, I don't see him wanting to come to Zion. He's trying to sue the church to get $5 million when he's a billionaire inheritance baby. Seriously? All because you called tithing a donation and you lost? Yeah, a guy like that, he's not going to give up that lifestyle. He doesn't understand what Zion will be, and that's why. They see, but they don't see. They hear, but they don't perceive. They live a life, and that's all they know. Even the poor. But at least the poor has the hope of something better with Zion. And so as long as they can answer the questions correctly, which is not hard to answer correctly. Can you give us a cheat sheet, Travis? I've been going over it in this video. I'm inspired to do this video after finding this. You're not getting it still. And yet the people who are listening do get it, right? Right? And 20, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man that is an householder, which went out early into the morning to hire laborers in his vineyard. He agreed with the laborers for a penny per day. He sent them into the vineyard. In the third hour, saw others standing in the marketplace. Go and gather into the vineyard. And so this is multi-pronged in its prophetic nature. Multiple interpretations. One is Joseph Smith is the first hour, and then over the course of the 200 years, you get others who join the church, and they're given the scriptures so that they can study the scriptures independent of what the church tells them to interpret it as. And so then they would prepare themselves and their families for the coming of the Christ on the 23rd of September 2017, and be prepared to come and answer the questions correctly and come to Zion. But those who are of the original pioneer Danites of the first hour are upset about the same wage given to those in the final 11th hour. What are you doing? We've been with you the whole time and you didn't give us a raise. Now you're paying these guys for less work with the same pay? And that's the answer that he gives them is, didn't we not make a contract? Isn't this what you agreed to? Now you're complaining? The whole purpose is to build Zion. When it's built, you get to come and live in it. You're all equal. It doesn't matter if you're a nevermo who hears about the meeting that's supposed to be taking place at your stake center someday, and you go to check it out, or you hear about it on the news that something's going on with the church that's earth-shaking, like the church fell, and there's going to be a special meeting held all over the world on Sundays. And so the news wants to gather to figure out what's going on, and Fox News sends in their spies to be concerned about what's going on, especially since Mormons aren't Christian. The whole world will know if the church falls. And so yes, those people at deathbed time can still come if they can answer the questions correctly. And will be treated equally. That's what that's about. So, and then the marriage feast for his son, where they kill the son. Right? And slew him, yeah. Jesus answered and spake unto them by parables again, and said, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a certain king, which made a marriage supper for his son. It's the wedding supper feast of the son in Zion temple. And sent forth his servants to call them that which were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. These are the people who work with the king the whole time, who are in the church from Brigham Young's day, similar to the previous example, the laborers. And they don't come. They're fully on indoctrinated into the church that Jesus is supposed to come, that they miss when they're supposed to go to build Zion and meet with their real Christ. They don't believe, they ain't coming, so they refuse to come. So then he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen, my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready, come unto the marriage. But they made light of it, went their ways, one to a farm, one to the merchandise. And the remnant took his servants, and entreated them spitefully, and slew them. And so then they die, the day that shall burn as an oven. And then 23, this is where he rips the Pharisees a new one for their evil and their neglect of the members. Now, scribes, Pharisees, and hypocrites, you shut up the kingdom of heaven against the members. For neither ye go in yourselves, neither suffer them that are entreating to go in. Nelson, now Oaks, is shut up like Zion. And they ain't going to Zion, neither are the Mormons. That's the sad reality that Mormons can't get a clue about. They don't see how Governor Cox was ordered by the church to murder everybody, to cause a massive separation. People still are being apathetic and not getting a clue. And the princess go down to report about the iron fire that now I find out had lead poisoning in the air. If she got poisoned, I'm going to be pissed. 25. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins. And here we're coming to it. This is it. I'm going to stop after this. I'm just going to do the Matthew versions. But yeah, there's others. I'm only at 56 and 57 to end it, when there's 106 total. So yes, obviously, through the rest of the New Testament and Joseph Smith with the Doctrine and Covenants. So the 10 virgins. Oaks has told you about this, so I'm not speaking anything you don't know about. I'm just giving you the correct version of it rather than what Oaks told you. Obviously, the 10 virgins are members of the church. And that's why I mock and laugh about the 5 foolish virgins statue that was put up at Temple Square. There's no reserve oil. Therefore, they're the 5 foolish, not the 5 wise. So yes, the kingdom of heaven, Zion. That's what all of this is about. The 10 virgins, members of the church, Latter-day Saints, waiting for Zion. They have their lamps. It's not about lamps. It's about intelligence. Spirit, seer, prophet, revelator, translator. They're supposed to go and meet the bridegroom. 5 of them are wise, 5 of them are foolish. And yes, the calendar dates and clock times that I've gone over with you for the latter days. Bingo! And they took their lamps, took no oil with them, because they're foolish. You got to have oil reserves. The wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. And so the wise took reserve oil with the lamps, but the foolish had no oil, not even in their lamps. They didn't have reserve oil, and they didn't have oil in the lamps. Took no oil with them. So when the bridegroom tarried, because of an extension in 2020 to run a test run instead, they all slumbered and slept. Yeah, Mormons are not even concerned about the latter days anymore. Everybody's concerned about other things in their life. Eating, drinking, and being merry. Oh, wasn't that yesterday's video? And at midnight, there came a cry. Is that going to be the time, Oaks? Irene? You ready, Irene? 9 more days today, if the video gets posted tomorrow, which is the case. Which, God, I'm going to be up late if I do it tonight. So if I do it tomorrow, I need to wake up enough time to, yeah. So 8 days tomorrow. I got the picture. I hope I remember to do the countdown. I put it on the paper. I have to see the paper and make sure to use the paper. But So, behold, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. That's the section 133 call out. And so those who are prepared, who can answer the questions correctly, get to come. And it should, if all things are the way it is, rather than the way the church wants to do it, if it's my way, there will be more than enough time. There won't be a rush. You will have time, hopefully. Because I'm expecting that Trump is purposely hesitating during the summer until the midterms. He's building up for the midterms. That's the next attack that will be coming. And so we have the summertime into the fall until November. But I can't guarantee anything during the election time. Trump has already said he's going to screw it up for Antifa. There will be problems with this election. Whether Trump can pull it off finally with acquiring of wealth that he thinks he's got to do his mission that he continuously fails for, even with the test run. We'll see. But we need to do our part like I did my part in 2020. And so those of you who are listening, I know your family, friends, loved ones, neighbors, Mormons, anti-Mormons don't want to listen to me. But try. Hopefully they won't murder you. Can't guarantee anything. We need to get the word out. I need to get more popular than I am. Even though the one scenario of nobody knowing who I am and the church falls and they do transfer it so that I can put out the 133 call. That's the scenario I'm hoping for. That will be the perfect one. But still, Mormons need to be prepared. They need to know what's coming. And just doing your own thing, living a good life, isn't good enough. If you hadn't caught on with what I'm reading. And so, the 5 wise virgins are the ones who pass and are getting set up to come to Zion, to put the world, to put Babylon behind them. Leave the church for good, which also suggests that the church still is in existence. And that would involve the church conceding and handing it over. But the membership doesn't know about it. And so my 133 call out would be a special announcement to members of the church. Oh, what's this about? We're hearing rumors and speculations and myths. We need to find out. And maybe it might be because Oaks dies, so Irene concedes, as he's supposed to. So members of the church learn of Oaks' death and then are now being told and notified through the stakes that there's a special meeting to be held on Sunday. Yeah, that will get people's attention. We'll see. The enemy has their agency and they do their will. Even trying to screw things up, which often ends up fulfilling the prophecies anyway. Right, Oaks? He thought he was outsmarting me, and I outsmarted him through that technique. I egged him on And he ended up fulfilling the prophecy anyway. Gotcha. So, yes, is this reverse psychology now, Oaks? I don't know. What do you do? You are no match for me, Oaks. Just hand it over. You're not going to do it, are you? And so, yeah, the Mormons who are not prepared, who don't know how to answer the questions correctly, who don't want to come to Zion, and who want to steal from Mormons, who want to, say, hey, we need something to give to Zion, thinking that that's how they get in. Nope. The foolish are foolish for a reason, and you ain't coming. And so, yeah, maybe they're thinking that they got to provide for the storehouse, so they have to go back to the stores to buy the goods for the storehouse, and they still get rejected because they come, the doors are shut, the ark is shut, the burning is about to commence with the election. Can't let you in. You chose not to come. Which I am kind of worried that we're going to have to build a dome. Not going to be happy about that. So, yeah. Weeping, wailing, gnashing of teeth again. He just gave you the day and the hours. Yet the Christian, being a dumbass, who sees and does not see, who hears and cannot perceive, put in no man knows the day or the hour. Do you guys know? Have you seen those videos? If those of you who are still listening, you do know that the lunar eclipses in Virgo that happen twice in Virgo for 1 year. And so that only happened in 2014, 2015, 2016, 2024, 2025. 2 sets of 5, 10. Virgins, Virgo. Lunar eclipses and full moons. The wise are the full moons that are not lunar eclipses. The foolish are the lunar eclipses. Joseph Smith knew that as he put in the day when the parable of the 10 virgins was fulfilled. It's now. It happened. Section 45 of the Doctrine and Covenants, which they should put Section 45 in here. Yep. In 1B. For virgins, yeah, DNC 45, 56, 56 to 59. And they also repeated that in 64, 54. Until that hour, there will be foolish virgins among the wise. At that hour cometh an entire separation of the righteous and the wicked. So Oaks is doing the wicked from, separating out the righteous from the wicked. And then I, hypothetically, because it hasn't happened yet, will be making sure that the wicked are separated out, only the righteous come. And the wicked are going to be bound up and burned with the day that shall burn as an oven. Church has betrayed you, and you fell for it. So the next one is the talents for which Nelson justified hoarding the money for Jesus, which is the 1 talent guy who hid it in the ground. That's hoarding for Jesus, and he didn't get it. It's because the others went and invested it in the stock market and violating SEC rules and regulations. So traveling into a far country, and so yeah, this is what you contribute to the storehouse. It has nothing to do with your talents and abilities. It's what you can provide to the storehouse. Your talents and abilities are separate. And so also what needs to be understood is there's a difference between recreational talents versus supplies for the storehouse. Paintings, artistic stuff, aesthetic beauty, that's all separate from the storehouse. Even though they will be provided with the storehouse, they're not what gets you into the storehouse. If you're a painter and you want to paint for other people's decorations, that's fine, but that's separate. The storehouse is for the basic needs and wants. The wants are for the making of supplies for the storehouse. And so you need food, you want certain exotic foods. That's the difference. And then your artistic decorations for the home are completely separate. You can have those. We're not going to keep you from that. You get to beautify the home the way you want it to be beautified. You get to have the aesthetics, the art, the music, even sports and entertainment, but that's not what gets you into Zion. If that's all you want to do is play sports for the rest of your life and then be expected to receive basic living, no. That's extra. Supplying the storehouse for the needs of Zion gets you into Zion. Like I said, there are exceptions. And if you're not sure if you're part of that exception, don't worry about it. It'll all be explained when it all hits the fan. Hopefully. That's why I'm doing this now. So, better not be led astray again. Trump, Oaks. No more test runs. Stop it. And so, yeah, you have some people who are able to take, see, there's one, and then there's the 5. The 5 goes and invests and doubles it. And there's the one with, isn't it 1, 3, and 5? 2. Yeah. Unto one he gave 5 talents, another 2, another 1. The 1 hoarded it for Jesus. And so the 2 guy doubles it. The 5 guy doubled it. And the one who hoarded, it was given to the 5 guy. But all of these are given to the storehouse. That's the whole purpose for this. So yeah, there are people who can do multiple things to contribute to Zion. Some people can only do one thing at a time. Others can do several. Others can do many. That's what it's referring to. All of you get to come to Zion, even if it's just the one thing that you can do. And so yes, there will be Mormons who will try to get away with just doing one thing. Yes, you can come to Zion, but you're going to be the least of these. You're still trying to milk the system, and you're walking a fine line of getting yourself kicked out. Because if you demonstrate the one thing and you are slow to restock the supply, you're taking your time, you're spending your time with the arts and entertainment. We have a special assignment for you. You're wasting everybody's time, and when you're wasting people's time, you're stealing from the storehouse because you're not providing for it. But you're not forced to be a 10-talent person when you aren't. But those who are just a 1 talent, or even if you are a 5 or a 10 talent, if you want to become an even bigger talent, you get to educate yourself. You can learn whatever you want to learn, especially if it's going to help Zion in the storehouse, not just for arts and entertainment, which is extra. You know, it's a completely different society than people know about. So it's going to seem weird and scary. I don't know if this is going to work. I've got a better idea. If we use this economy, get out. I've got a special assignment for you. You do not know better. Don't even try. So, yeah, we'll make the video tomorrow, because 3 hours is going to be at least an hour and a half to save, and it's almost 8:30, and will be almost 9 by the time the video gets loaded. And so that's 11. So we'll do it tomorrow morning. That's what we got coming. Those who have been following know when I get inspired to do a video that you better perk up. Because something's coming. I don't know how much longer, but like I said, today when you're watching this, 8 more days left until it begins, Oaks. So we'll see. Oaks has still gone missing since the 20th.